And now, you're tuned in to RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's RBLR Sports.
Welcome into RBLR Bucs. I am one of your co-captains, Musab, ready to set sail for the season. The treasure map is out. The crew has been finalized, and the fun and the games of the preseason are behind us. We've trimmed the fat, made the final 53-man roster cuts, and now the real voyage is about to begin. The smell of victory is in the salty Tampa air, and our cannons are primed for week one. Well, folks, tonight we're diving deep into the chest of our newly finalized roster. We'll be talking about the surprise keepers and the tough goodbyes and the semi-tough goodbyes because some people also came back along. But we're also charting our course towards our first opponent. We'll just give a little idea league-wide, kind of seeing, who we're looking at for, awards, and maybe it might give you a little bit of, advice for the fantasy. But hoist the colors, get ready. The Buccaneers are ready to claim what's ours, a.k.a. the NFC South title. But shout out, as always, to the rest of the RBLR squad holding it down across Tampa Bay. The Rays, Rowdies, Bolts, Tampa Bay Sun. If you're not checking out their pods too, please do fix that. All right. But a friendly reminder, I'm going to keep saying it as always, whether you're on YouTube, Instagram, X, Blue Sky, we want to hear from you. Send your hottest takes, your boldest predictions, any sorts of questions you have. All right, we're here for you. We're open ears. All right. But as always, this show is never a one-man show. I don't think it ever has been. All right. And, joining me on this co-captain on this ship, he is our calm, cool, and collected expert who can navigate the roughest seas. He's here to give us, the razor-sharp analysis, provide the crucial insights, and his name is Carter Brantley. Carter, what's the good word, my friend?
Oh, nothing much. Just enjoying another week closer to NFL football, another week closer to the regular season starting. We got some really fun college games this weekend. I'm pretty excited for. I don't know about you, but I'll definitely be.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm going on a little.
First of all, USF tomorrow.
I know. Yeah, go Bulls.
So.
A little sneak preview of what might be to come in RBLR Sports. Who knows? Stay tuned. Yeah, very excited for that. Not super excited for what the result will be because it's Boise State. They're pretty good, but hey, it's USF Bowl football. Byron Brown's hopefully going to be back on the field. So there's some fun stuff to watch tomorrow as well as this weekend. But yeah, the Bucs had some pretty major news. I mean, it's a big week for all of the NFL. It's a lot of roster moves, a lot of cuts, a lot of waivers, and trying to understand what the waiver list is and what that means and all that nonsense. It's kind of a complicated thing. Practice squad signings, like, good gracious, it's a lot. But regardless, the Bucs made a lot of moves, made a lot of cuts, and we'll get into that. That's the first half of our episode. And so I'll start off with kind of a nebulous question. Who was the biggest surprise that didn't make the roster for you, Musa? Was there anyone that got cut or waived and you were like, oh, kind of made you raise your eyebrow to throw a Musabism right at you? Who was the biggest surprise that didn't make the roster?
I'll probably say I got to go Nick Jackson, if anything.
Yeah,
for the guys who didn't make it. I mean, I understand that he's back on the practice squad, but when we first knew about that, not making the 53-man, I felt like he really made a name for himself. So I'll probably say that was the biggest surprise for me. I will say getting rid of Trask and Bazelak was interesting to see. It was not surprising. It was like, oh, okay, if that's what we want to do. So probably those two I would probably say are the biggest ones, but you tell me.
No, yeah, I'm right there with you. Jackson had such a great preseason that it was tough to see him go. But, I think there was a kind of a visceral reaction to it on Bucs Twitter. I don't know if you were tuned in or saw any of it, but it was definitely a very like, oh, what are they doing? Like, oh, goodness gracious. And I definitely didn't agree with the decision. Like, I would have kept him on the roster. But at the same time, they moved him to the practice squad. It's all good. He's still there. He's still available if there's an injury or if there's just underperformance, whatnot. So it's not the end of the world. Like, there was one post that was talking, it was from 2 years ago, from 2023, only like 3% of waiver guys get claimed. So it wasn't really, I wasn't really super concerned about him getting picked up by another team, but it was a bit of a surprise to see him not make the final 53. I thought that he kind of earned his spot, but at the same time, like, he was not even an undrafted free agent. Technically, he was signed after a tryout. So it's kind of like one of those things where he wasn't drafted and he wasn't an undrafted free agent right out of it. So it's hard to shake the draft label sometimes, even when you perform well. So we'll see. He'll have a chance on the practice squad to make a name for himself and continue to work towards earning a permanent spot on the Bucs roster, which I think he's perfectly capable of, and it could certainly happen. Yeah, Trask was weird, man. I thought they were going to maybe have him be the third quarterback, but it was kind of interesting. I'm glad they went with Teddy as number 2, but yeah, outright cutting Trask, that was really interesting. That definitely gave me a little bit of pause.
I mean, I guess they probably also wanted to open another spot at another position.
Sure.
I was just gonna ask. I mean, like, a follow-up question is if there was any certain positions where you were like, oh, well, they really beefed up on that position, or they didn't. Oh, maybe I was hoping they would keep, these many guys. I don't know if there was any positions like that for you.
Yeah, I know we were talking about it in our group chat. The running back position, carrying 4 running backs is definitely an interesting way to go. I don't necessarily disagree with it, because a lot of the guys that make rosters in the NFL, like, they have a position, quote unquote, but like their real position is just special teams. You know what I mean? Like, it's really that they're on the team for special teams play, and they just happen to be a running back if you really, really needed one. So I was kind of surprised. I was cool that, getting an LSU guy, that was fun. Undrafted LSU guy. I think they had 4 undrafted free agents make the team, which was really cool. I always love to see those underdogs get a chance. But yeah, running back was probably the biggest kind of surprise in terms of the volume of the amount of, the amount of players, just the amount of bodies that they have at that position on the 53-man was kind of interesting. But how about you? Were there any other roster spots, or was it really just the running back room?
Probably say, yeah, maybe running back. To be honest, I'm glad that they kept all 4 tight ends.
Yeah, me too.
That was something that I was, saying, okay, maybe they just chop it down to 3.
Right.
But I think each one of them, they bring kind of skill set, and on top of that, I think as of right now, I don't think there's been some good news regarding Cade Otton.
No, yeah, he looks.
I'm wrong. So
yeah. Unfortunately,
you never know when you need depth until it hits you out of nowhere. So I think that's good.
Yeah, and I think they're carrying 4 tight ends was maybe a reason to not carry one on the practice squad. I think they don't have a tight end on the practice squad, if I remember correctly. So that's kind of just one of the ways that you can do it. And yeah, Cade Otton being questionable for week 1 certainly made that maybe a bit more of a priority, because I think of Devin Culp and Payne Durham as definitely being like 2A, 2B sort of in terms of backup tight ends. Durham's probably a bit more of a blocker. Culp is more of the receiving tight end. So I think that it's nice to have those options, because Keith,
they ought to just throw Keith at fullback, man.
Right, exactly.
Bring back
I know they haven't
recently.
Yeah, he's fun, man. I love Keith. I think he brings a certain energy to the team that, it's kind of that just bulldog mentality, just like kind of letting him out of the cage and go do his thing. It's definitely, he definitely plays with a chip on his shoulder, kind of a very different type of guy. So I like it. I like that he made it. But speaking of more guys that made the roster, was there any guys that kind of gave you a little bit of pause? For me, it was definitely Ben Chukwuma. Please, Ben, I apologize for mispronouncing your last name, but super crazy story, super fun, out of Georgia State, undrafted. And I think he's played maybe 12 games of like organized Division I college football, but he's uber athletic, like 6'6", 6'7", really massive human being. And I'm really excited to see what he can do at the backup tackle position. Maybe he even pushes Charlie for, that starting left tackle spot while Tristan Wirfs is out. We'll see. He doesn't have nearly enough experience probably to see any meaningful NFL action, but it would certainly be fun if he did. Were there any other guys that made the roster that kind of made you raise your eyebrow a little bit, Musab?
I'll probably say seeing Josh Hayes instead of Bryce Hall.
Yeah.
That raised my eyebrows a little bit. It's not that I even love Bryce Hall either, but it's also like I don't really have much to, boast about Josh Hayes either. I get it. I mean, they're both going to end up, they're not starters.
For sure.
So that was interesting to see, if anything. But I have to say, at least based off of, sprinkling off of this last preseason game we had, seeing Cameron Johnson. I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't mean to sound like a hater, but I was just like he had a couple of missed opportunities, some drops.
sure.
So I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I was rooting for Garrett Green. It was kind of more. I don't know if it's exactly for the vibes either, but to see a guy go from quarterback to wide receiver like that and do a pretty solid job for what he was able
Hmm.
to do with the opportunities he had.
Oh yeah,
I was
absolutely.
like, okay, but
Yeah.
no, that's really about it though. With the offensive line and defensive line on both sides, um, it made sense to me.
Yeah, it was pretty
But
straightforward. I was sad to
yeah,
see our friend Adam Gostis get demoted to the practice squad. That bummed me out. Uh,
unfortunately, yeah, he really didn't do much. That was
yeah,
that was
understandable.
that was a tough thing,
Right.
but
Yeah. I
um,
definitely love that they managed to keep Garrett Green on the practice squad. I'm with you. His vibes are definitely through the roof. And maybe, he makes his way onto the active roster at some point as sort of one of those Taysom Hill gadget type of players, run some weird stuff. That'd be kind of fun to see. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. I was hoping I was pulling for Garrett Green for sure, because that's a really cool story, making that position switch. You don't really see it too often, but when you do, it's really exciting. So yeah, I'm with you. I think and I was shocked that they waived Trey Palmer and kept Cam Johnson.
yeah,
That was probably the biggest thing I disagreed with, because I felt like Trey Palmer had still a little bit of upside, and I feel far more comfortable with Trey Palmer stepping in and taking over for the wide receiver spot. God forbid should an injury happen, than Cam Johnson. But at the same time, maybe they see Cam Johnson as more of again, getting back to special teams. Like, I know it's boring. I know people don't want to hear it, and I know it's kind of hard to really think about, because you're thinking about the Madden rosters in my head, at least. I don't know about other people, and there aren't really special teams designations. You kind of just can throw anyone. Excuse me. So it's interesting, but yeah, we'll see. Trey Palmer's a Saint now, so he's on the New Orleans Saints. We'll see how he does. Their wide receiver room is also a little light, as are a lot of their positions, frankly. But we'll see how he does in New Orleans. I think he was at LSU at one point in his college career before he transferred to Nebraska, so a bit of a homecoming for him. But looking around the league, were there any players that were cut or waived that, in a different world, or maybe in if the Bucs had more of a need for it, was there a player that maybe you were looking for the Bucs to pick up? I know for me it was definitely Mike Hilton was an interesting name that got waived by the Dolphins. He's got a long track record as a solid slot corner. Frank Gore Jr., just because he was a Southern Miss guy. My parents went to Southern Miss, and it's Frank Gore's son. Like, how much fun could that be? But he's on the Bills practice squad. And then Chad Muma, I think honestly, if he made it to the Bucs, I don't want to say I'm positive, but I'd imagine the Bucs probably submitted a claim, but the Colts just snatched him up, and the Bucs are lower on the totem pole in terms of waiver wire, I believe, than the Colts. So, were there any other guys that I didn't mention that maybe you were looking at that were released around the league that you were hoping the Bucs could maybe pick up?
there's just so many guys. I mean,
Yeah, it's a lot.
I would probably
It's a
say,
lot.
yeah, it is a lot, and it just makes me think. I guess the only thing I would say is I'm open to any guy with experience who's done
Yeah.
some kind of so who's made some contribution in the DB room. Okay, because the only reason why I say that is I know you're asking who surprised you, who made the roster, and all that, Musab. Well, I don't think I really saw much. This is really on me, but look, we're talking Kindle Wilder and Rashad Wisdom. I don't know much about them. I'm not trying to put them down either, but it's just that, I mean, they're obviously not experienced vets either. Otherwise, I feel like I would have known their name by now too. So, just getting some extra depth out there in the DB room, just with whoever's available. I'd probably say the one guy that did kind of catch my eye. I got to look up his, how much he. I just remember when he came into the NFL, it was kind of the story. But Shaquille Griffin, he's also a
Oh yeah.
Lakewood High School
Heck
legend.
yeah.
So
Absolutely.
he
Yeah.
just,
Local stuff.
he just got released from the Seahawks. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if they're going to bring him back on the practice squad or something. But I mean, he was with them, for 3 years. So he's got a couple experience under his belt. Come back home as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. It
Just
would have been a fun
we'll see
story for
though.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely would have been interested in that, and maybe a safety. I know the Bills just brought back Jordan Poyer, and he would have been kind of an interesting guy to sign as sort of a veteran backup in the safety room for sure. But it happens. So yeah, I definitely didn't hate all the things that the Bucs did. I really liked a few of them, but there were also some things that were kind of maybe I would have done something differently. But these are things so on the margins that it's really hard to really have too much of an issue with them because, like, we're talking about the fifth or sixth wide receiver, we're talking about the fourth or fifth linebacker. Like, these guys hopefully aren't going to play that much. That's the hope, at least. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, if you're looking to upgrade your wardrobe, if you're looking and you're trying to make some cuts, you're trying to make some preseason cuts for your attire, definitely head to shop.rblrsports.com. We'll give you a promo code Cannon, CANNONS, for 10% off your entire order. Get a cut off of that price. Good gracious, that was bad. Sorry, everyone. But yeah, definitely head to that website. We've got some really fire gear. Everything Tampa Bay sports related. Check it out. We'd really appreciate it. So we're headed into the second half of our episode, and we're going to be talking about some NFL awards, both in the broader NFL sense as well as Bucs specific. So we'll go through several different awards and just give you some lighthearted predictions, who we think could win for both the NFL and the Bucs. And we'll start off with the big one. We'll just rip that Band-Aid off. Who do you think is going to be the MVP this season, both in the NFL and for the Bucs, Musab?
Man, it's hard, but I gotta go Lamar Jackson, man. Especially after not winning it last year.
Yeah.
Why not run it back again?
Right.
I can't think of anyone closer to him. I don't want to. Yeah, I know people are gonna say other guys. Joe Burrow, Patty Mahomes. So if I wanted to be different and say something spicy, I'd say Jaden Daniels.
Ooh, I love it.
Just because I don't know. I feel like, yeah, I'm just a huge fan of his, man. I know even though he cooks us when he plays against us, he's kind of just like a younger version of Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, uber athletic. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, I think I've got Lamar as well. Because I get why Josh Allen won it last year, but I still would have picked Lamar if I had a vote. Lamar is just so good every year. He's just turned into like the most consistent player in football, honestly. And that, Josh Allen's also really consistent. So is Joe Burrow. But yeah, Lamar's just kind of on a different level for me. I'm with you. Jaden Daniels would definitely be a fun MVP though in his second year. That would be awesome. I would be so excited for that.
That would be crazy.
Yeah, he's such a fun player. I'm with you. He's definitely one of my favorite watches for sure. But for the Bucs, I think I'm going to go Baker because I know it's so boring picking the starting quarterback, but he's really good. And he was really good last year. And I think that there's going to be kind of a regression. We've talked about it in previous episodes, a regression across the board to where he's not, he's maybe not going to have the touchdown and the passing yard total that he did last year. But I also think his interceptions go down. And I think that all of those things happening means that he has at least as good, if not better, a season this year than he did last. So I'm going to go Baker with my Bucs MVP. But who you got for your Bucs MVP, Musa?
How could it not be Baker? Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
He's just day by day warming up more and more to the Bucs organization. He's finally got his chance. This is his team. And yeah, I can't think of anyone as a close second.
Yeah, and it's a contract.
I hope everyone balls out too. But yeah, this is Baker's year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
Get paid. Yeah. If he has another year like last year, he'll get a massive payday. And even if it's a slight step, he's just got a lot to play for, not even just necessarily for the team. Obviously you want to win, blah, 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 but also just personally for him as a player, this could be kind of that, hey, like this is 3 years in a row now. He's going to be a very solid quarterback for a division-winning playoff team. Like that's a very valuable thing. And another quarterback needy team could step in and pay him a lot of money, or the Bucs will pay him a lot of money. That's obviously the hope. That would be great if he could finish out his career as a Buck. He'd be really, really fun. But yeah, I think Baker's gonna have a great year. Zach's not even here to talk his praise. Good gracious, Mr. Blaine.
I know.
Yeah, he's got
right now when he hears this.
Right, I know he'll be. Yeah, excuse me, he'll be very excited. But another award that I wanted to talk about, Offensive Player of the Year. I think for me, the NFL, I drafted him first overall the other day in a fantasy draft. We'll see if I regret not picking him or not picking the other wide receiver that I could have taken. I picked Justin Jefferson. I know that's kind of a maybe, I don't want to say it's spicy because it's still Justin Jefferson, but over Jamar Chase. And I think he wins Offensive Player of the Year this year. Kevin O'Connell just does such an amazing job over there with that Vikings offense. And like, I know JJ McCarthy's a rookie basically, and he was kind of a run first guy in Michigan. But I just think if everything comes together well, and I think that it will, Justin Jefferson's just going to have an absolute monster of a year. I mean, he has had so many monster years. It's kind of not, ho hum for him, but I think that he could maybe take it to the next level, especially if he stays healthy and if JJ McCarthy can just be an average NFL quarterback. I think he has a great year, and I think the Vikings make the playoffs pretty easily. So that's my Offensive Player of the Year for the NFL. How about you, Musab? Who you got for this award?
Oof. I'm going to go on Jahmyr Gibbs.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, man.
All right.
I feel like, I mean, he's proven already what he can do. I also just want to be different. I didn't want to say Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson.
No, I feel you.
I feel like, so I'm going Jahmyr Gibbs. I mean, he's got great O-line, just create opportunities. Just overall, just a phenomenal team. I mean, so plus, I mean, it just, you always want to do someone different. I mean, I could have easily said Saquon. I think Saquon's also going to have a huge year.
Yeah, for sure. Spicy
take. I think Malik Neighbors is going to be top 3. I think he'll squeeze. I think he'll sneak in. I know. I did. I'm just throwing these young Bucs spicy takes, but
I like it. I dig it. I think along that kind of same thread, I think my guy's Brian Thomas Jr. for me from the Jaguars, because he was great last year. Like he was one of the best receivers in football last year as a rookie on a struggling Jaguars team. I think, like, I know Liam Cohen is sort of he who must not be named in Bucs world, but I think he's going to, at the very least, I think the offense in Jacksonville will be better. And if the offense is better, Brian Thomas Jr. is going to have a huge season. So him, Malik Neighbors, those are definitely two kind of nice guys who had great rookie years who could be even better in year 2. I'm definitely with you on Malik Neighbors. He's going to be fantastic. But yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs. I love Jahmyr Gibbs. I think he could very easily be one of the best running backs in football this year. I know Saquon and Derrick Henry sort of have that 1 and 2 locked up, but Jahmyr Gibbs is electric. He is so much fun with the ball in his hands, and he could be sort of the Christian McCaffrey of the Panthers, and win that Offensive Player of the Year title. I could definitely see that for him this season, without a doubt. For the Bucs, who you got for the Bucs in this regard, Offensive Player of the Year?
You got to go Bucky. I mean, it's the year of Bucky.
Yeah, I don't.
What about you, man? Who you thinking?
Yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, Bucky's definitely an easy choice because he was so good last year. He could be another kind of Jahmyr Gibbs type of guy. We could even be talking about Bucky as Offensive Player of the Year in general. I'm gonna go with Mike though. I think Mike has a really, really nice season this year. Especially like if it's really just health with a lot of these guys, but especially with Mike, I think if he manages to stay on the field, with Emeka Egbuka and Chris Godwin kind of, whenever Chris returns and Emeka taking a huge, leap into the pool of the NFL as a rookie, I think Mike is going to be helped out a lot. And I think he'll sort of feel a responsibility in a good way to kind of lead these young guys into the future, especially Emeka, because this is his last year on his contract too, Mike. So, this could maybe be his last year as a Buck. I think he'd want to go out with a splash. I'm going to pick Mike just to have some variety because we've been picking the same guys a little bit. So I think I got Mike as well, or I got Mike for this one.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah, Mike's just been so outstanding throughout his Bucs career, and it'd be great to see him have another great season. All right, so Defensive Player of the Year for the NFL, I've got Patrick Surtain. He's the best cornerback in football. I know our producer is going to be very excited to hear about this. And he's phenomenal. Patrick is just like him and Derek Stingley, the 1-2 at the cornerback position, or if you want to throw in Sauce Gardner, but him and Derek Stingley specifically play cornerback a very different way. Stingley kind of flirts with the quarterbacks and trying to gauge them into throwing bad passes, whereas Patrick Surtain, you just like, oh, there's Patrick Surtain, I'm going to throw to the other side, and it's just like he just gets no targets, which is a very good thing for a cornerback. And Patrick Surtain just locks down the whole side of the field. It's really impressive to watch him go to work. So that's going to be my NFL Defensive Player of the Year. But who you got, Musab?
I'm going Aiden Hutchinson. Absolute animal, just straight up beast. I mean, even with his, history of injuries, I mean, he's still been able to show what he's capable of doing. I've heard great things about him, actually, even during training camp and all that. Matter of fact, actually, I remember when I first saw this, it was like some random news. It was regarding the Lions. Aiden Hutchinson has been so dominant during Lions training camp that Coach Dan Campbell has said that there's a Hutch rule at practice. Basically, the Hutch rule is when Hutchinson beats his man and likely has a sack on a play, but they don't blow the whistle and continue to rep so the offense can get their work in during team periods.
Wow.
So, as Campbell said himself, if you can't block Hutch, he's going to blow up. He's going to blow every practice up, and that's not good either. So, right. I mean, he's young. He's an absolute animal, and I think he's due for the award. But I can't say that Patrick Surtain is not a favored candidate for that because, oh yeah, dude, dangerous guy. We discussed this in the past. You don't talk about DBs being Defensive Player of the Year that much because the ball's not thrown to them that much. You know what I'm saying? Right. So there's only so much we see. For
sure.
So no, man, I like it though.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Aiden Hutchinson, that's a great anecdote. That's a great little tidbit. I hadn't heard that one. That's really fun. Yeah, I mean that's that's some pretty darn high praise, especially for the Lions. I know that that like we were talking about with Jahmyr Gibbs, they have a pretty darn good offensive line. So for Aiden Hutchinson to just be blowing up practices like that, that's definitely a great sign. And if anyone could bounce back from an ACL injury like that, like such a major knee injury, I think it would be Aiden Hutchinson. He seems to have, a very, very much a chip on his shoulder. I mean, he wasn't picked first overall the year that he came out of the draft, which not to diss on Trayvon Walker, because he's actually been a very good player as well for the Jaguars. But, Aiden Hutchinson's been outstanding. So it's kind of one of those things where if anyone could really make a big leap and continue to be the dominant player that he was before his injury last year. Because I know Bucs fans know, I mean, he had a heck of a game against the Bucs when they played against each other last year. When the Bucs and the Lions faced off, it was the Aiden Hutchinson show for a while. So, yeah, he could very easily snatch that award up for sure. But yeah, we'll see how these all play out. We'll check back in throughout the year, see how the progress is going for all these guys. But we'll be back next week. We're nearing the end of our episode. We'll be talking about the Bucs season at large because it'll be week 1. It'll be the week before the first game of the season. They'll be taking on the Falcons. So we'll also be talking about that game as well. If you like what you heard, definitely hit that like and subscribe button. We'd really appreciate it. It'll just let us know that you like what we're doing. Also give us a follow at RBLR Bucs or RBLR Sports. We're across the social media platforms. Check us out there. So thank you to my co-host, Mr. Musab Tariq. We'll see you all next week. And as always, go Bucs.
Go Bucs.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.